Thank you, Dave. And thank you for telling everyone how much I've done for the Jersey Shore and how much I've done in healthcare. I really wanted to talk primarily about myself this morning. And promote myself. By telling you I don't take any crap because I'm from the Jersey Shore. Now, somebody might decide this morning they want to take a poll, but I want to tell you I don't believe in polls. I spin polls. And I talk about the Jersey Shore all the time because you understand that I have single-handedly saved the Jersey Shore. In fact, when I see polluters and I see other people trying to pollute the Jersey Shore, I just tell them to get the hell off the beach. I see in the room we have quite a few reporters this morning, and I just wanted the reporters to know I'm only going to talk about the Jersey Shore, and I'm going to talk about healthcare. And if you want to raise any other subject or ask me any other question, I'm going to say that you're an idiot. Governor Christie this morning. I didn't really mean to do this. I'm really supposed to talk about President Barack Obama, Senator Menendez, and all my Democratic colleagues. On a serious note, let me just say this. I was very upset when I listened to the Republican convention last week, and the reason is because I saw the same thing happening there that I see in the Congress on the part of the GOP. And that is that they simply lie.
Oh.
They lie,
All right.
they cheat, and they're going to try to steal this election.
Absolutely.
And I want you to know that we can't allow that. Talking about the lies, the biggest lie is about Medicare. I'm on the Health Subcommittee. I'm the senior member of the Health Subcommittee. And I'm telling you that the Republicans want to destroy Medicare.
Yes.
When they talk about the cuts and the big lies about, how Democrats want to cut Medicare, the fact of the matter is in the Affordable Health Care Act, we extended the life of Medicare and we provided additional benefits. So that's simply a big lie. The other one that's out there that really disturbs me is those ads that talk about welfare reform. I don't know if you all remember, but Bill Clinton and Democrats in Congress were the ones who came up with the idea of welfare to work and started the welfare reform. And it is simply not true to suggest otherwise, that somehow we're trying to eliminate the work requirement. And then the other one is Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan, all of us in Congress know him because he's one of our own. And when he talked about how the president was going to close or didn't keep a plant open in his district, and it turned out that plant was closed 6 months or so before Barack Obama even became president of the United States. I mean, this is just a lie. But my favorite is the guy who's running against Senator Menendez, Joe Carrillo. Some of you know that I ran against him about 20 years ago. He ran against me for Congress. And he's been around for a long time in the state legislature, as a lot of the state legislators know. And for the last 20 years, he's been anti-choice, and he's been for an unfair tax code. And now all of a sudden, he reinvented himself and talks about how he's pro-choice, and he possibly wants to pass a millionaire's tax. So I'm telling you, we cannot allow them to get away with these lies. This convention today, our convention, has to be an opportunity to begin the process of correcting the record. Because the fact of the matter is that if we don't do that, and if all of us don't individually get out there and try to correct that record, those GOP lies will continue to be repeated over and over again, and some people, hopefully not too many, but many, will believe it. Now, some of you know, when I talk about lying and cheating, one of the things they're trying to do with the voter registration, as you know, is to change the rules. That's what they do. In every state, they are trying wherever they can to change the rules for voter registration so that we can't vote. They don't want want us to vote. You know, when I saw Governor Florio, I don't, want to talk about past history all the time, but when I saw Governor Florio get up here this morning, I remember back in 1981, when you first ran, I think it was 81, and we had, Governor Kane, who everybody thought, was such a nice guy, running, and they stole that election from us. I remember I was in Long Branch, where I lived, and on election day, there were people out there were guys out there, big guys with camouflage outfits, and they were holding rifles in the air, and they prevented hundreds of people in my hometown of Long Branch from going to the polls on election day because they were scared when they saw those men in camouflage and with holding rifles. And Governor Florio won that election. They stole that election from him. They had a thing called the National Ballot Security Force, some of you may remember, after they were fined the biggest fine in history. But it didn't matter because they still won the election by intimidating voters. Right. So whether it's going to be voter registration or it's going to be intimidation at the polls, we can't let that happen. I saw it happen once in New Jersey, and I promise you I will never let it happen again. I will never let voters be intimidated at the polls. Now, I want to tell you, this is an important election, and you hear that all the time. But if anybody tells you why it's an important election, we've got to re-elect Barack Obama, we have to make sure we retain a Democratic majority in the Senate, and we have to try to take back the House of Representatives again and have a majority in the House. In the 2 years when we had a Democratic Congress, an all-Democratic Congress, and Barack Obama was president, the first 2 years of his presidency, it was the most productive, progressive Congress in 100 years. We passed things like the family care bill. I'm only talking about the things I dealt with on health care. Rob Andrews knows, Bill Pascrell knows, Rush Holt knows. We passed the Affordable Care Act. We passed the food safety legislation. We passed the Lilly Ledbetter bill. I could go on and on. It was the most productive Congress in 100 years. And we've got to get back to that. That's not what they want. They're looking back. Some people say the Republicans are looking back to the 50s as a golden era. I think sometimes it's the 19th century when I listen to the things that they talk about. And our president says just the opposite, that we have to move forward. We have to move forward into a progressive era in the 21st century that we're in and make sure that we protect the middle class, because the middle class is suffering and the GOP doesn't care. They're only out there for the special interests and the corporate interests, not for the middle class. But I want to tell you, this is the beginning at this convention. After that, we have, I think, about 70 days to spread the word and spread the message. And that's what all of you can do, because everybody in here is a leader. You've got to talk to your friends and your relatives. You have to make sure that they don't get to use that deceit and cheat and steal the election. And we have to explain to everybody why the Democratic Party is better, and we will move this country forward into an economic future that benefits every American. Thank you very much.